बाहों में रहो तुम दुनिया की परवाह कहाँ, because it wasn't yielding anything. So I'd picked up this song called Tarifan that had just released and done a cover of it and did a mashup of that with Justin Bieber and went to bed like many other nights and woke up and the makers of the film had found it and shared it and it had proliferated everywhere on like South Asian digital devices.
Hello and welcome back to the show. If you're new here, my name is Sheen. I'm your host and this is the Dream Girl podcast. And you are joining us in Mumbai, India. This episode is brought to you by Charles and Keith of Apparel Group. My guest today is Lisa Mishra, a singer, songwriter, and now also an actress. From viral covers to Bollywood and to now stepping into the world of acting, her life is a story of constant evolution. In this conversation, we'll talk about the risk that she has taken and what does it truly mean to keep reinventing yourself. Hi, Lisa. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for taking the time out for us. How was the traffic?
I got lucky. I got in before there was any ridiculous traffic.
Okay.
But it's been a challenge. We've been in and out of this location like several times in the past 1 week because there's been a lot of events happening just between this hotel and the Dome, which is, the amphitheater nearby. It's been this commute on and off for the past 2 weeks, and today was the lightest.
Oh,
so
wow.
I'm very happy that the travel was easy.
Great. Lucky us.
Yeah.
I always complain about the Dubai traffic. And since I came to Mumbai, I was like, I will never, ever complain.
And I thought it was the worst here. And then I went to Bangalore, and I have so many friends.
Worse?
Yeah, so my friends were like, no, the worst traffic is in Bangalore. I was like, that's not possible. We just did a show there I think last month. And I was like, oh my God, nothing is moving. We're just sitting there. And there was we were staying at a hotel that was attached to a mall. But you had to exit the hotel to get to the mall. It took 30 minutes.
Sure.
It was one turn. And we were just sitting there.
Oh my God.
Pretty miserable.
that can be challenging. Do you drive?
I don't drive here.
Not here.
Yeah.
No. I was thinking here is crazy. People walk in between cars.
There's a lot of, it's like a lot of stimulus. So you have to have a very high threshold to be like able to handle things coming at you from all directions.
Absolutely.
I'm so regimented and used to the US and the Dubai system is also so similar.
Of course.
So I'm like, okay, but even in Dubai, there's quite a few fast cars.
Listen, Dubai, yesterday we were having this conversation. I crashed my car 3 times already.
Oh my God.
It's like, Dubai, the traffic there is a problem. Yeah. But that's because people drive fast.
They drive fast and there's a lot of sports cars.
Yeah. And huge cars.
I love this whole thing about the single double digit license
Know
plates.
the
I'm always looking about it.
Yeah. What's the lowest you've seen?
I've seen double. I've never seen a single.
No way. I've seen number 4.
Okay.
You've seen, that was the prince.
I was going to say, which sheikh or prince was that?
Yeah, it was the prince.
That's usually just the royal family.
Royal family is under 10 usually, yeah.
So I've seen doubles. I've seen like 12s and 50s and stuff.
Oh, you haven't gotten to the real stuff.
I haven't gotten to the real stuff.
I remember one time we were driving and someone from my team was with me and someone honked at us and just went past and she went, their number's like a phone number. How do they have this much attitude?
You have 9 digits,
please calm down. But listen, Lisa, thank you for taking the time to be here. We have so much to talk about.
Amazing. We'll get to it.
Yeah, I'm going to start from the beginning. I love that you've done the same journey as me. Started as a corporate girlie.
I did.
Full-time corporate girlie. Then
what it was.
You had a YouTube on the side.
Yeah.
Then it went into viral, went to Bollywood. You were a singer, songwriter, and now an actor. Let's start from the beginning.
Oh, yeah. Very good place to start.
Good place to start. 9 to 5. How was that?
I was just talking to someone about this yesterday because it feels like such a different part of my life being in the corporate space. And then honestly, when I put on this Oxford today, I was like, I'm going back to work.
It brings back memory.
I know, you have to, dress the part and look the corporate lifestyle. But I like regimen and I like routine a lot. And I didn't understand its importance in my 20s. But now I actually crave the normalcy and the routine of a 9 to 5. I think anybody in my team that knows me, as I'm very like detail oriented and type A, I wasn't this. But I miss that part of it. I think having some sense of stability and routine was actually really nice. And I'm thankful for that part of my life then, which is, now been integrated to my life now when I need it as like a business person and as somebody who kind of is running like their own little empire.
Right.
Or trying to. So you need those skills for this job as well.
Yeah. But so you were not unhappy in the 9 to 5?
No, not at all. So I don't think I've been unhappy in my life, or I've allowed myself to be in situations that are miserable. Because if I've had a chance to change that, I've done it. I remember my first job was actually at a call center.
Okay.
And it was obviously very ungratifying. And because I was waiting, I had a 6-month gap between graduation and when my actual job would start. But I still wanted to make some money. So I joined this call center job. That was miserable. And I spent my time, writing screenplays in my free time.
Love it.
Or I would go to my car and record little covers of me singing. Because I was like, I'm not going to succumb to this fate.
Yeah.
I refuse to be upset about my circumstances because it's a blessing to even have this job. And it was a gateway to my next real job in data. So I never allowed myself to be drowning in misery as such.
I like that. And I like that you look at it from a very objective point of view, right? It's like it's serving a purpose for now.
It's serving a purpose.
Yeah, I'm not trapped.
Yeah, and I feel like you make your own fun. You find little ways to keep yourself busy. Needless to say, my sales calls numbers should have been a little higher. Been a little less time on the script.
My heart was not in it.
I wasn't as motivated by that job, I will say. But my job in data was actually fun. I had a really good team.
Oh, that's cool.
And it was a really cool company. It was a transportation giant. Oh, wow. So it was a freight trucking company. It was one of the biggest in America. And our job was to do like predictive analytics and projections about not just the financial side of it, but actually to find solutions about dead routes. Basically, if you have something going from point A to B, is there an A point 2 in the middle where you can pick up another load and make it more profitable?
Increase the efficiency of
increase the
journeys.
Efficiency and decrease empty trucks basically on the way back from these routes.
Wow.
It was a cool job. It was like solving a puzzle every day.
It is. It's problem solving, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Love it. So is this how the YouTube channel started on the side? What started? I'll tell you, first time I came across you was many years ago. And I remember you used to sit cross-legged on the floor with your guitar.
I know.
Right? I remember that.
Those were the days. Those were my parents' basement.
How did that start?
So I started my YouTube channel when I was 13.
Oh, wow.
I was a kid and my mom didn't allow me to have my face on the internet yet. So I would make these really basically PowerPoint slideshows with a voiceover. And the title was very uninspired. It was me singing, see you again. Me singing, walk away. And I was not very
creative at that age.
Yeah, not yet. And YouTube was only a year old. We didn't know what was or wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
So I made this YouTube channel and I had I'm talking about like 100 or 200 subscribers. Nobody really listened for about 7 years because I was singing in English. And then in 2013, there's this movie, Ye Jawani Hai Diwani, that came out. And I'm American and I didn't necessarily have the language know-how in Hindi, but I was definitely raised on Bollywood in our family. So we watched enough of these movies that I grew up around the music. And there was a song in it, Kabira, which is like iconic. Yeah, and that was my first ever cover in Hindi.
Oh, that was the first one?
The first one. And that took 7 years for me to do that. In 2014, I uploaded my first cover in Hindi and it caught on instantly. So I was like, oh, that's what was missing. Is like, I needed to do what is authentic to me as a person. And what do I have to offer that isn't, already out there from a bunch of other Americans, and let them do their job. Let me do mine.
You have that nice little blend, right?
Yeah,
so might as well bring it in. Yeah.
And in about 3.5, 4 years, that amassed about 100,000 subscribers.
Wow.
Which is great. At the time, those were big numbers in those days. So I was primed for when this super viral moment happened that began my career, because thank goodness I had about 100,000 people at my disposal who were already a captive audience.
Right.
So that, it's that whole timing meets opportunity thing. And you maximize your value in that moment. You go, okay, like everything is here, all the pieces are there, and we get to really pop
But it's so powerful what you're talking about, because I think a lot of people will ask that question as that overnight fame and virality that happened. But it was not overnight.
It's 11 years in the making.
11 years. And a lot of people don't see that journey of 11 years and how you got there. But especially, when you speak to YouTubers and creators, right? Everybody knows the struggle.
Yeah,
of like
absolutely.
You build in the dark for so long and then it happens.
Yeah.
But how was that viral moment?
I mean, it felt cathartic because about a month before that, I had told my parents that I was quitting. Like I was quitting this side gig because it wasn't yielding anything.
And you were quitting YouTube, not your job.
Yeah, I was quitting YouTube. And they were really upset by that. Because they'd seen me since I was 13 years old till I was 24, hacking away at this dream, and it wasn't coming to fruition. And they were really, sad on my behalf, as parents are. They were just like, oh, we're seeing this little dream die in front of our eyes. And it was hard for them to hear me say, I don't think it's going to go anywhere. So then a month after I gave them that talk, I made probably one of my last covers that I was going to make, and I uploaded it and I went to bed. And I woke up the next morning and this had happened. So it was, it was sort of like a divine, intervention. Yeah, I really feel like the universe told me, hey, literally wake up. It's happened.
And walk us through that minute when you woke up and you looked at your phone.
I couldn't understand what was happening. Also, I didn't believe it was real. So I woke up and the song had been found by the makers of the film. And this was I had done a cover of a song that had just been released. And that's kind of the hack, which was, pick a song that's currently trending and make your version of it, because more people are likely to watch. So I'd picked up this song called Tarifan that had just released, and done a cover of it and did a mashup of that with Justin Bieber, and went to bed like many other nights and woke up, and the makers of the film had found it and shared it, and it had proliferated everywhere on like South Asian digital devices. It was so crazy because I feel like it wasn't just India. It was anyone brown in the world had just been...
They found you.
They saw that moment happen. And they saw it happen in slow motion, especially the 100,000 people who had been watching for so long. So I really felt like this was a community win. And a lot of the comments initially for that video were from those OG listeners and subscribers just being like, we can't believe it's like... It was like the underdog story.
We've seen it happen.
Everybody was just like, yes, finally. And I was like, yeah, you and me both.
We're all part of the journey.
Yeah.
But that's so nice. And again, I want to go back to, you found what worked for you, which was that mix, because you have the Indian roots, you have the cultural exposure of the West, because you grew up there, and you have these two sides of your identity. Yeah. But how did you blend in both of these for yourself, whether it comes in your style, in the way you sing, in your identity? What made you find the right blend, which makes you feel the highest version of yourself? Quick break for a word from today's sponsor. Today's episode is brought to you by Charles & Keith of the Apparel Group. Charles & Keith is a brand that has redefined what it means to have stylish shoes, bags, and accessories. Charles & Keith shows us that fashion is more than just style. It's also a way to express yourself and transform your look.
Yeah, I think it's like musical code switching. So I knew that these are just songs I love. And I didn't have a real way to interpret them as authentically as somebody in India would, because we didn't grow up speaking Hindi at home. Okay. So I sort of roughly knew what the words meant because they had all the, the catchphrase words like Diwani and Pyar. And, like I knew the big ones.
Like, I get the gist.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, I know this is a love song. Yeah. But you could hear the passion for music in my voice. Which has less to do with, the language and more to do with just an art form that I deeply love. So when I sing or when I perform, that love is so organic and it just comes out. It's a very, deeply rooted passion that I have for this. So I never really focused on anything other than just delivering a good performance. Yeah. And somewhere I think that's what clicked with audiences, because they would point out these little like idiosyncrasies. They'd be like, that's not how that word's pronounced, but it's cute. So fine, we like it. And even in the official released version of Tarifan that I did, there's plenty of, pronunciation errors and stuff. But the craziest thing is I mispronounced it convincingly enough that people made covers with the mispronunciation.
Stop.
So then we had a whole generation of people doing these covers of my song.
You're teaching people the wrong way to pronounce things.
Where they were like, well, that's cool. Like, it's a new way of speaking Punjabi. I was like, yeah. Sure. This was intentional. Yeah, totally.
It was.
You don't need to know.
Claim it.
But now it's funny because I look back at all these things and I hear myself in my old recordings, or I watch my first auditions. And my casting director actually just about 2 weeks ago put up this really cool video of my acting journey.
No way.
And it has 6 years worth of audition tapes. And you see this transformation in my accent because I really poured myself. Because I was like, now I have this opportunity. Now I live in this country and I have to learn the words. I have to perform a song, not just sing it.
Yeah.
And I have to authentically deliver the emotion. It's great that I love music. Now I have to understand it. So that really ended up helping me as an actor as well, because my early audition tapes are just, girl, they're a mess. I was just like, it's so American, my accent when I speak Hindi. And now my accent in Hindi is so believable. People, earlier this day, my good friend Dania couldn't believe that I was raised in America.
No way, it was news to her.
Because it's taken its time, but now we finally made it.
But
this.
When you just came here, was it an issue for you, the accent? Especially for work? It was?
Yeah, absolutely. I think many times I wasn't taken seriously in the room. That's just there. I'd walked into many recording sessions, and to this day, it's so crazy. I've lived here for 7 years and I actively full-time work and stay here. Just days ago, people were like, oh, have you finally moved? I'm like, girl, I've been here nearly a decade.
What do you think it is?
Okay, to be fair, I travel a lot, so maybe it's just confusing. My social media presence could be throwing them off a little bit.
You're a child of the world,
Yeah, I love traveling, so maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
But I also think that people haven't gotten, spent the time to really know me or to see me in a natural state of being in this Indian context. Because then you hear me speak Hindi, it's like, it's night and day, the difference between this accent and that accent.
Nice.
So it's fun to kind of catch people off guard and have them go, oh, that was an extreme switch. But it took time. It took many, many years to get, to flex those muscles.
Yeah. And I love how you said the audition tapes from the beginning. Even me, when I watched the first YouTube videos I posted, I couldn't even make eye contact with a camera. I would always do something at the same time.
I would always close my eyes or look away. And then, oh my God, okay, I'm going to call myself out. Then I would do this cringe thing where I would look longingly into the camera. And I had this formula where I was like, there's going to be an off-shoulder shirt. It was just tastefully off-shoulder.
Very rock star.
Yeah, very rock star. Like, I just picked up the guitar. I'm just singing. I'm in my element. And then I would just I make this face. I would sing. And it's so corny to look at it now. Because
you're like, what was she thinking?
Yeah, I was like, girl, you don't have to do all that.
It's okay, she got you here,
She got me here, okay? Shout out to that girl.
You needed her.
We needed those off-shoulder moments for people to be baited into watching. It's like, ooh, what's that?
Yeah, what's
that trap muscle gonna do today? But it's been a journey. It's taken some time.
Yeah, but I watched you in Call Me Bae.
Yeah?
Yeah, and I really liked your character.
I corporate girly, that's why.
Yeah, but I hated her at first, not gonna lie.
I know, she seemed like a shill for the man.
Yeah, a little bit of a pushover. But then the last episode, her power move, right?
This is my show.
Correct. But how was the experience of auditioning for that?
Oh, it was great.
Yeah?
That audition was actually sort of magic. I was working on the music of the series with the music team who didn't know I was auditioning for the show.
Right.
And this would be about 4.5 years into me actively auditioning for acting. And so I was involved in the music side. They had no contact about auditions with the casting team. And then I submitted this audition, and then the director saw that audition and they're like, is that Lisa? And she's working on the music. And then he was like, okay, fine, let me see this. And he didn't know how seriously to take it, I'm sure, at first. But so he tells me, Colin Dacuna's wonderful, wonderful director and a dear friend, he loved it the first time. So something about it was convincing enough. And he was so cool about this whole thing. That character was supposed to be much older.
Okay.
To give it the believability that she could be the producer of a major, a major news network series. And they got a lot of questioning about that. Like, are you sure this is the right casting choice? Because the age is supposed to be about 10 years older. And he was so cool. He said, why not? Why can't there just be like a powerful young woman in an office?
Right.
And they're like, what about the tattoos? He's like, she can have a life. And I thought that was the coolest. I thought that was the coolest thing he could have said. Was like, she can have a life. She can have a backstory. She doesn't have to be like so plain in the past. Yeah, she had fun.
Yeah.
That's what makes her have that moment in the end. She's seen it all. So it was a really great gamble that he took, and it thankfully paid off. And hats off to Veer Das, who's my scene partner in most of the show, who got that performance out of me
because he
plays such an awful person.
Very convincingly.
Yeah, very convincingly, which is so opposite what he is in real life.
Yeah.
He's incredibly sincere and he's such a good person. And he really brought out that tension. I was like, God, I just want to slap you. You're so terrible.
But you know, how do you prepare? I mean, obviously you're new to acting. You're a seasoned singer. First of all, what made you decide to do the switch between singing to acting? That's such a bold move.
Yeah.
And we love to see it. But what made you do it?
I think, and I say this with love for music, I've done it for 28 years of my life. 28 of, the 31 years I've been alive, I've made music in some capacity.
Yeah.
So just like anybody in any line of work, let's say you started your career at 20, by 50, you'll be bored.
Right.
You'll want an evolution or a change. So just take that and switch the age range. And I was thinking about it one day and I was like, I need to do something more with myself. I auditioned initially sort of frivolously within the first 3-4 months of moving to India. And I remember just being, oh, this is fun. This could be fun. And then I actually really loved it because I'm so used to being a performer anyways on stage that I just was like, this is just the maximum version of that. And switching off the singing, what is it like to give pure performance and pure expression and be like so present with a character on a project as opposed to song by song having to change my tonality. And then I just fell in love with the auditioning process. And then I gave and gave and gave, tens and tens of auditions. I think about 40 rejections must have been in that, if not more. And this finally landed. And I remember the first day on set being definitely the junior most artist because everyone has done multiple things before.
Right.
And that imposter syndrome almost kicked in, but I had probably the kindest person in this industry as the lead of our series, which is Ananya.
Yeah.
And she's just a gem of a human being. And my first scene was with her. And they put us together because we'd known each other for a few years.
Right.
I've done music for multiple of her projects. And she's just so kind and so giving with her encouragement. You feel very safe around her. So I lost all of my tension and nervousness immediately. And it was designed that way because, again, Colin is a very sensitive and wonderful director. So he knew, he was like, let's give her her first scene ever on a set with the person she knows. And then we'll work our way up with everyone else. So, it was great.
I'm glad you mentioned imposter syndrome. I was going to ask, I hate that word.
I know. It's also done to death.
It is done to death. Yeah, so passé. And I don't know if you've heard the bicycle face story. Have you heard of it?
No, what is this?
So there's this, do you know Reshma Saujani? She's American as well.
No.
She is the founder of Girls Who Code. And in one of her speeches, you must know that. In one of her speeches, she talked about how she said bicycle face. Have you ever heard of it? No, never heard of it. And she's like, okay, think about it. When the first ever bicycle came about, because back in the day it was one cycle.
Yeah.
Then it became the first bicycle. It was the first time women were allowed to travel without anybody else. They could now get to places.
Whoa.
That's a big red flag. And then all the men were like...
Girls were running away.
And they were meeting to decide they needed the right to vote.
Yeah.
So we need to put an end to this. So then they brought about in the medical journal that there is a new disease affecting women only called the bicycle face. So when they ride a bike, their faces get red, their calves go bigger. So all those symptoms of just working out, basically. And all the women stopped riding cycles after that. It stopped. So the bicycle phase became an official disease.
It was like a medical phenomenon.
Medical phenomenon. And then the first female doctor ever in America, the first thing she did was discredit that disease.
Amazing.
And Reshma says, yesterday's bicycle phase is today's imposter syndrome for women. We've been told that there is this thing called imposter syndrome. And now we all think, oh yeah, that's what I have.
We all have it.
Yeah, I have it. And that's why.
Placebo.
Exactly. If you didn't know that existed, would you ever think,
No, I think I would chalk it up to just fear of not it's just nervousness and fear of not knowing.
Yeah.
Until you do the thing.
Yeah. So there's no need to feel like you don't belong or you're not good enough.
Yeah.
But my other question for you is, for anyone watching you, because you've gone through, you said over 40 rejections. Yeah, you kept going. You did YouTube
in
for over 12 years.
In my dating life, in my music career, in my acting career.
Every day.
It's every day.
Every day. What keeps you going?
Sigh. I think I have an insatiable appetite for success. And I think that's sometimes seen as an icky thing to say out loud. I crave success. I crave excellence. And I won't stop until I get it. So I'm very driven in that regard. I think it's much more beautiful to phrase something as I love art. I do love art.
Yeah.
But girl, I love money.
Me too.
And I love a nice life. And I love being the person that has created it for herself. There's nothing better than being able to say, but I earned it. And I put all the pieces together. And how cool to be able to say I've put my work into it since I was 4 or 3 years old. So it was, there was an inevitability to that beautiful thing that happened in 2018 because everything aligned with preparation as well. Because if that moment had happened without the preparation, I would not be where I am today. Because then that version of me the past 7 years that has evolved into what's sitting in front of you is directly tied to the 11 years of a lack of success. So having that grit to keep going and not just be waiting for more and more opportunities to be handed to me. Because those things, lightning doesn't strike twice in the same place. So I had that big moment, and what I did afterwards with my career and how I chose to further my success is because of the 11 years of failure. I wouldn't say failure, the 11 years leading up to that moment.
Right.
And putting all these pieces together, waking up every single day and just thinking about what's next and next and next. So yeah, I think that's what it is. I just really am driven by success. And that metric isn't just about it's not competition. I don't want to add that into the mix. I don't have a competitive mentality externally. I have one internally.
Yeah.
I really have horse blinders when it comes to my success. I don't compare it to anyone else's. I definitely have inspiration I take, which is the opposite of jealousy. I look up to people and I definitely emulate their processes. But it's really about me in here. I wake up and I'm just I have 37 things I want to do. It's overwhelming for the people that work with me. But we try our best to get, 5 of them underway.
That's a good day.
That's a good day. If we can get 5 out of 37, that's a great percentage for me. But yeah, that's really what it is. I think I want to be a lifelong doer and learner and keep hacking away at it.
But I do think you're right. Comparison is the thief of joy, right?
Absolutely.
And I like to think of anyone I look up to that they broaden your horizon of what is possible.
Absolutely.
Right? And you dream bigger the more you see the realities of
I have
things.
so many heroes and role models as opposed to competition. And I also really think, and I really do stress this point, women are made to compete with each other constantly, whether it's for validation from men or for success in our workplaces.
Yep.
And we're made to believe there's no seats at the table. So I understand that this competitive mindset it's a patriarchal construct. It's by design. It's to keep us out. So I refuse to play into that. I don't look at another woman as a threat. And I think that's ridiculous. I think we just work so much better together than apart.
Really do.
And that's not my soapbox of, yay, let's all. I'm saying we lose so much time. We become inefficient fighting with each other. And this sounds so gross and bro-y, be this competition is all about lack of efficiency. But it is. It's inefficient to be competitive and waste our time thinking about, but she has more than me and she has more followers or more success or more songs or more movies. And I'm like, okay, that's great. That's her journey. And I didn't get so far in my life to waste time looking around and not looking here.
Right.
Yeah.
But see, I like how you think, and the way you approach things is very pragmatic.
Yeah.
Right? Very pragmatic. But are there any like emotional days for Lisa?
Totally. Yeah. I think my biggest, emotional lows are all tied to homesickness. And I mean, I left not so young in age that, it's irreparable damage or anything like that. I was 24. I was primed to, be successful because I had done all the groundwork. And I'd worked in that corporate space for 3 years. So I had the efficiency mindset and I also had the creative space. But nothing replaces the feeling of family and grounding. You can wake up every day and like I said, I do love money and I do love success. I can count all my nice bags, but that's not the same worth as a hug from your parents.
Not quite.
Yeah. So I think that's probably my biggest lows every day are just being incredibly homesick and wanting more time with my family because I'm very, very close to my parents and my sister.
In America is very far.
And it's so far. The journey, including just like from the time I get into a car to go to the airport, to the time I'm at my doorstep in Chicago, it's 30 hours.
Oh, Lord.
It's draining. It's very draining.
That's long.
It's a long day, almost more than a day.
More than a day.
Yeah. And it's a taxing sort of emotional journey as well. So I think that's one thing I wish I could control, but I'm working on that with my therapist. It's just like, those things, you don't just get handed everything in life.
You need to have some challenges.
You need to have challenges. It's for the plot.
It's for the plot, Even me, I was home recently, home in Mauritius, and I was thinking what I love most is just the busyness in the background when you're at home, right? Compared to
just the noises.
Just the noise. Someone is around, right? And I think that's what I don't have in Dubai either, where now you live there alone. And yes, you have a great life, but nothing replaces that little noise in the background.
Absolutely. And we live in these maximum cities, right, that are always on.
Yes.
And we insulate our lives with a busy schedule and, colorful friends. And we build new families, but that just, mundane noise of being at home, whether it's the sound of like a fan or somebody's in the kitchen or the cat is meowing downstairs and
the little bickering happening.
You didn't pick this up from the store, but no, you didn't tell me this, that I had to do that. You didn't park the car straight or pull that out of the garage or go mow the lawn. Like I like those little things. Or with my sister, just like a great day is going to the art museums and just looking at things. And there's so much togetherness in the silences of that as well. So I miss that. I miss the home aspect every single day. Every day I wake up and I'm just like, am I home? No.
I'm sure if your parents watch this, their heart is going to
Oh my God. I mean, I'm a half a phone call away from being forcibly moved back at this point.
But, now that you're in a different country, different city, and you're a public figure, do you find it hard to find your tribe? Like, how do you know who to trust, who is a good friend?
You bring up the best point. I think in cities that are, cultural and financial epicenters, Mumbai is the center of commerce, of sport, and of entertainment all at once. Everything happens here. And that means by nature, it's incredibly competitive. And in the greater scale, yes, there are very few seats at the table, and we are all clawing our way to that. That is where trust becomes an issue, because I have seen so many of my friendships just decay over, something as silly as if I invited you to something that was just a gateway for you to get somewhere else, as opposed to you're here with me to spend time. I feel like that's the most heartbreaking part of living in these hyper successful, always on cities, and in industries that are so competitive. You do develop severe trust issues. Like that has been my biggest learning in the last 7 years, is that you should really be careful about who you call your tribe. And you should spend a lot of time on deciding who deserves to be part of that.
Right.
And just because somebody's nice doesn't mean they need to know every part of you.
Yeah, I know. I think that's one lesson I learned the hard way as well, is that people need to earn their spot in your life.
Absolutely.
Right.
You can't just be giving away love.
No.
She said to her old self.
And quick question now. How's the dating life?
Girl, you tell me.
You tell me.
I was like, it's dead.
I thought Mumbai will have better chances than Dubai.
We really think with such a dense population,
our
odds are higher, but...
No? Do you have time for it?
I do have time for it. I make time for it.
Good.
I'm really invested in companionship and partnership. So invested that I think I've tried and probably used up as many likes and swipes and whatever that you can give on every app. I've tried the traditional forms of being set up by friends or family. I've tried the spontaneous meet cutes.
Oh, the blind dates?
I've done blind dates.
Me too.
Oh my God, girl, I've tried everything. And I mean, no closer. And it's starting to be, like, am I the problem?
I mean, I think everyone is asking themselves that question at this point, but it must be hard for you as well, given that people know you and they probably have a parasocial relationship with you already.
There have definitely been instances of that, but I think the greater thing is it's like a cultural evolution challenge. I don't like to apotheosize or put on a pedestal relationships in the past and those generations.
Yeah.
Because the world didn't look like this. And I think it's two things. I boil it down to two words every time I talk about love and relationships is excess and access. We have more access than ever, and there's an excess of information and choice. So the dating pool is just so messy. It's chaotic. And we can't make sense of it because, I might be talking to Tim and then John texts me within 10 minutes and then I'm like, oh, what's this got? It's this like dopamine hit.
Constant.
It's this excessive information. Our body's not meant to be storing this much information about this many things and people. And then the itch to open an app and swipe and try again.
Easy.
That
it's
access.
gamified. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think previous generations didn't have this problem. My parents grew up a house apart. And my sister met her, she's 5 years older, and she's just before this era of dating apps.
Right.
She met her husband in college, the traditional way.
Yeah.
So I think, unfortunately, by the time we were in college, everyone was on an app.
Yeah, everyone.
And you could be dating your college sweetheart, but he could be dating 3 other college sweethearts.
He has 3 other friends.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know if anything was exclusive at that time.
Yeah.
So it's just getting more and more difficult by the day. And I'm not proposing that everybody has to have traditionalist values, but monogamy is harder.
It is.
And that goes both ways. I'm not the moral arbiter of what is or isn't right, but it's tougher.
It's tough.
A lot of choice and a lot of access to choice.
And also I feel like now women have evolved beyond the whole looking for someone who will support their lifestyle.
Absolutely.
Right? So now, but I don't feel men have caught up yet in terms of that's okay if they don't need me financially.
Yeah, I think that's all part of a system that we've been, there's like a neoclassical model of how things operate and people, like men are supposed to fulfill this role. So there's just as much pressure for them to still feel like, well, why can't I provide? And like, but I want to, like, that's my job. Yeah. And I was like, well, I got your job and 12 other ones. Let's go.
So what should we do? Yeah.
What do we do about this? And it's been fun to date because I'm currently talking to somebody. We just matched on an app recently. And one of the coolest things that happened in this conversation was he's like, I really love how clued in you are to like diplomacy and economics. And I was like, yeah, I just like reading. And he's like, that's a great role reversal from what I'm used to. And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, usually I just talk at people.
It's usually educating.
And I was just like, I was like, that might be a you thing. And I was like, no, I think it's like, we're now, the good thing about this generation of especially women is we are almost like threateningly successful.
Emasculating a little.
Yes,
now, right?
And it emasculates men. And it takes a strong man, strong moral fiber to be able to handle a woman that knows things and wants to be great.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, we're kind of like running out of time, unfortunately. I have a final question for you.
Okay.
So what is the legacy you want to leave behind?
That's such a great question. My legacy, I just want to be remembered as someone who put this purpose of helping women. I want to be remembered as somebody who like made something of that purpose. And specifically my goal, the soapbox that I will die on, is that I want to see in India where women are safe and educated and have, gainful employment in a traditional workforce. And that is so important to me. And I do it at the micro level of making sure I employ lots and lots of women in the music space in my capacity, what I can do in my teams. But if I could, blow that up and see a country full of women who feel like they can leave their homes, safely reach their jobs, and, scale up their life and join the workforce, that's really the dream. Because I feel like, unfortunately, we're so far behind from the rest of the world on that metric. Like for all eligible women who could be in the workforce, we have one of the lowest statistics in the world of a major economy, which is about just hovering around 30% of women in India. Yeah. Goes without saying that the non-traditional labor force, which is domestic labor, we are more than
ahead.
Yeah, more than ahead. But that's not a blame game thing. It's just that we need to make this access to jobs easier. We need to educate girls and ensure that they complete their graduation and get their degrees. Mm-hmm. And all of this only really works if their parents feel like they can safely send their daughters out. So this has got a lot of different, factors that make for the dream, which is 50-60% of Indian women in the workforce. But safety and education being at the top. We need to work on those things.
I love that.
Yeah. So that's the dream.
And I can see it happening.
I think so. I think we're just about a couple generations from that massive shift happening. Mm-hmm. And we just have to up the safety measures and insist on fully completing education.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Lisa, this has been amazing.
Yeah, it's been great.
Thank you so much for sharing with us. Are you going to sing anything for us?
Sure, I'll send you off with a song.
Please. This is our goodbye, please.
All right, I'm going to sing a little bit of my most recent song. This is the first ever song. It took so many years to do this finally. That is fully independently released by me. I'm very proud of that. And it was my money that went into the production of the song and the visual and the marketing. Wow. So I'm very happy about it.
We love that.
Yeah. So this is me, businesswoman at work, but also artist.
Yeah.
The song is called Teri Hoon, and I hope you like it. Here it goes. बाहों में रहो तुम दुनिया की परवाह कहाँ रगों में मेरे तुम जन्मों से होना यहाँ दिल में जो छिपा है कह भी दो चल दूं तुम जहाँ चलो धड़कनों में तुम ही रहो तेरी हूँ हर एक हाल में पास तेरे रहूं हाँ.
Oh my God, wait. What auto-tune who? This was incredible, girl.
You're lucky I kept my shirt on my shoulder.
Where was the shoulder?
I know, I should have worked it.
Thank you so much for sharing this with us.
Thank you so much.
Lovely to meet you, Lisa, and thank you for being on the show.
Thank you. This has been such a great chat. We should do it again.
Let's do it again. Next time you're in Dubai, we'll do it.
We'll do it there.
Well, we have a little thank you for you.
This is amazing. Oh, this is awesome. I'm a big...
You have a big fridge
I have a big fridge collection of Polaroids and letters.
Love
so this is going right up
Perfect.
There, next to my Dubai magnet.
For it to remember me. This is for you to keep.
Amazing. So great. I'm going to open all this later.
Yeah,
you guys jam-packed this.
Of course. It's very heavy, so you need to help with it.
And with this injury, I will need
it. Please, you don't carry it.
Okay.
Amazing. Thank you.
This is so great, Sheen. Thank you so much.